Hi folks, it's that time again to start preparing me cores and my holes for me exhibition carrots, the stumpy ones. So again, I've got me 2 foot wide, 2 foot square boxes, 2 foot deep, full of sharp sand, which I've watered a few weeks ago and let it all settle, so it should be nice and settled now. And the way I'm going to grow these, as usual, for those who've not seen it, is I'm going to take a core of sand out, the width of the pipe, which is about 2.5, 2 3/4 inches, 2 feet down, and then what I'll do, I will fill the hole up with compost and then plant one seed, well, a couple of seeds in each station, as we then call them, and then the carrot will grow down in the compost, and any water and dew will drain straight through the sand and help draw the root longer and hopefully make it grow nice and straight. So first of all, it's just to try and take some of these cores out with the pipe. Just a piece of old drain pipe. I've no need to try and get it out in one go. I'm doing 16 in this box, and they're probably about centres, about 4.5, 5 inch centres. So what I'll do, I'll plunge this down, just do it halfway at a time, and hopefully the sand should stick. If your sand doesn't stick, then it can be for two reasons: either your sand's a bit too dry, or a bit too sharp, meaning that it's not got enough fine stuff in it. But as you can see, this is stuck in the pipe, and I'm just going to chuck that in there to fill that one up. And also, if you're having problems making the sand stick, you can, what I did with this is get a knife and a file and just scratch the inside of the tube, make that rougher, so it gives it something to key to the sand. So I'll just go down. I know when I've got hit bottom because I'm onto the weed membrane, and it won't go any deeper. So that's one done. Like I said, I'm going to do 16. What you can do also, instead of doing what I'm going to do and risk it and do all the holes without filling them in and then fill them all in one go, you can do one hole, fill it in with your compost. I'll explain what the compost's like at the end. So then that stops them any possibility of any collapsing, but I usually get away with it by doing them all in one foul swoop without them collapsing. So we'll just do a couple more, and then I'll just show you what the compost's like. I'll just show you what it looks like when it's done, and show you how I put the compost in and what the compost's made of. So that's 16 done in that box now. As you can see, the width, like I said, about 2.5, 2 3/4 inches, 2 feet deep. I've done 16. They may be a little bit close compared to some, but I've always had reasonable results, well, good results actually, at that spacing, maybe 5 inches apart. So now it's just a matter of filling them in, filling the holes up with compost. So I'm just going to use a funnel, just a homemade little funnel out of plant pots, and just plonk that over the hole and then scatter some compost in. I'll just try and explain what the compost's made out of. So this year my compost is just bog standard multi-purpose compost. If I show you what I've done, I've actually put it through a 5mm riddle to riddle out any bits of sticks and big bits of peat and anything, so it's nice and fine, and it should make the carrots grow well, because you don't want big lumps of things in it. So the taproot, because if a taproot hits something like a big lump of wood or a bit of peat or a piece of grit or anything, it can fork, and that's what tends to make your carrots go fork. So I used to use just bog standard seed multi-purpose or seed compost that had actual sand in it and stuff, but I'm just trying the cheapest stuff this year and seeing if we get any decent results. So all I'm going to do now is just trickle this compost in until the hole's filled. I'm not going to compact it at all, and then that should give the carrot a nice fine sort of fluffy hole to grow down. Again, it's just doing one after the other. I'll do another one, I'll just show you what it looks like finally, and then that's it really. See, I'm not planting these, I won't be sowing these until maybe the middle of April, because if you plant too early, even in a polytunnel, if you get a cold spot, that can actually make them fork as well. So they want to be grown in relative warmth all year, and they take about 120 days to be ready for the shows. So that's about right, middle of April to the middle of September. hopefully. But like I said, I'm using some different compost than I've used ever before. So we'll see what results we get. It might be a disaster, it might be as good as ever, but you don't know until you try. So I'll just finish these off and I'll just show you what it looks like when we're finished. So that's all 16 filled in now. If you notice, I've put a little ring over the top, and what this is to do is when you do actually plant your seeds and then you do water them, it stops you washing the compost out of the hole. And then also, once the carrots are growing, they do have a tendency sometimes to start pushing the shoulders out of the soil. And as you know with carrots, if the shoulders become sort of, if they can see the sunlight, then they go green, which is not what you want. So with this way, you can, if they do, you can just top up the little ring, which will cover the top of the carrots up. So like I said, these won't be getting sown for another couple of weeks now, so I'll just put these, I'll just cover them with some plastic or something just to keep the moisture in. And then middle of April, plant 2 or 3 seeds in each one, thin down to 1, and then just water them quite regularly, and hopefully we'll get some decent carrots this year. But yeah, again, that's how I do my stump carrots, my exhibition carrots, just by coring out sharp sand and filling it with your desired compost mix. That's about it, folks. Well, hi folks, now we're on to the long carrot ones. I've got some big 200 litre barrels. They're about 3 foot 6 tall, and I've sat them on a foot of sand below as well, so I've got about 4 foot 6 of depth to go. I'm going to try and put 6 cores in here, so 5 round the edge and 1 in the middle. I'm going to use exactly the same method using this core, but it's a bit harder this time because you've got to get a lot of depth out. And it's quite compact at the bottom, so we'll give it a go. Got to do it bit at a time, but it's the same principle. Trying to get a bit of purchase on it. I did try doing it with a big bar and just boring it out, but you still have to get your stomach muscles going this one. Get all my weight on top of it. I think we've hit something pretty solid there. That's nearly full length of pipe. If I get a carrot that long, I'll be happy anyway. So what I'll do with these now is I want to make them a bit wider at the top, so I've got a rake handle, a big thick rake handle. I'm going to try and put it in the hole without sticking the top through my polytunnel. Put it in the hole, I'll try and get it a little bit deeper at the bottom, and that's it, down to something solid. And I'm just going to turn it around like this, try and get the top about 4 inches wide, and then the hole will be sort of a conical shaped hole. Like that, that'll do. So that's one done. Take this out. So if I can get a carrot that long, that'll do me. So basically I just fill it exactly the same with the same compost, plant again, give them a good 150 days or even longer for these. I won't bother showing you how to fill it because it's exactly the same way as with the stump ones. So that's how we do the long ones. It's a bit of a harder way to do it, but it's all worth it in the end when you pull a big monstrous thing out. So that's about it, folks. Coring the long and stump carrots out, how to grow them. It's just all the preparation that's the hard stuff, because once they're growing they sort of look after themselves. So give it a go. Just try one box, see how you get on, you'll be amazed. See you later.